Chanel just recently had 2 price increases in 2021, so you might just be wondering, is the Chanel wallet and chain still worth your money? I've owned this classic Chanel WOC for 5 years, and I'll be sharing with you everything I know about this bag in an in-depth review that includes pricing, features, what fits inside, the overall wear and tear of the bag, as well as a comparison to the other different models that you might consider purchasing, all to help you determine whether or not this is a worthwhile investment for you. I have the classic Chanel wallet on chain in black in caviar leather with gold hardware. I purchased the Chanel wallet on chain back in 2016 when I just got promoted to manager. I was looking for a really good investment piece that fit my price budget at the time. When I was considering purchasing this bag, I already thought it was incredibly expensive and the prices had gone up so much throughout the year, maybe I should wait a little bit more. Back then, I purchased it for $2,600 before tax in Canadian, which converts to about $2,100 USD at today's exchange rate. If you look at the prices now in 2021, it's $2,950 in US dollars, which means a 40% markup in the last 5 years, which is even better than some investment portfolios. Chanel does not lower the retail prices of these bags, so you can only expect this to get more expensive over time. When I was reviewing the resale prices, the selling prices of these have ranged between $2,100 to about $2,800 online. The bag itself feels weighty enough so that it feels luxurious, but still light enough to be a regular errand bag so that it's not too heavy. The bag should also come with a dust bag as well as an authenticity card. It should show your date code engraved in gold on the back as well as a holographic symbol here. And of course, you have these absolutely gorgeous straps. These are signature Chanel straps, and it has the leather intertwined with the hardware, creating this beautiful jewelry-like strap. So one of the main issues with this bag is the strap is considered really long, even on most people, including myself, and I'm 5'7". Found a way to overcome this. I've experimented with over 19 different ways to wear this bag in different strap configurations to adjust to any height. If you're interested in that, there'll be a link at the end of this video as well as in the description box below. This has a flap in the front that you open with a gold clip. The clip itself reads Chanel Paris. In the most recent versions that have been released, it is no longer a clip, it's actually a magnetic closure. First, you have the main compartment, which is lined in this beautiful deep burgundy color, which is their classic lining color. There are 6 compartments in the back that is lined with fabric. The front here is actually made of leather because there's a small little pouch here that you can add additional items. This front zip has a gold hardware and a leather strap at the top that you can easily use to pull. This is where I would typically store more confidential items that I would like to keep more secure, as well as some loose chain. At the front, you also have an additional extra pocket that you can put easy to access items. On the inside of the main compartment, you can see that it says where the bag was made, and mine was made in France. On the back of the flap of the bag, you'll see the Chanel and CC logo embossed in gold. At the top here, this is where you can access the secret love letter compartment that is signature in all the classic Chanel bags. The interior is lined with a burgundy fabric all the way down to the bottom of the bag in the back. The zipper here is actually plastic and reads EP and is attached by a leather strap. The newest version will actually have a metal zipper. On the back of the bag, you have a really easily accessible pouch that you can put ID cards, credit cards, just for easy access. If you are getting value out of this video, please click the like button so I know to make similar videos in the future. One thing you should know about the way I use my handbags is I don't like to baby them. I don't like investing money into a bag that I have to be incredibly careful with. I'd much rather a bag that is low maintenance. When it comes to the wear and tear of this bag has worn beautifully. And I think it's also because I chose it in a grained calfskin leather, which I think doesn't show the imperfections as much as if it was lambskin. If you look on the CC, there's a tiny bit of scratching, but definitely nothing too obvious that you would see from a regular distance. Quilting is completely intact, and I see no loose threads around the sides. If you look at the wear on the inside, you'll see that there are a little bit of markings on the leather and a slight bit of wear on the interior of the fabric. Another common imperfection that you'll see over time that is completely normal is a little bit of an indent here, which is caused by this zipper digging into here. You close it completely. And as you can tell, even as I close it now, if I don't move away the zipper, it actually embeds itself into the leather. One way to reduce or prevent this from digging into the bag is when you store your bag, just leave it very loose like this. Another habit that I adopted to help reduce this indentation is when I close the bag, I just do a hand sweep to the side before I close it. The number one thing, if you want to keep this bag in great condition, is don't overstuff the bag. There are many consequences to it. One of the typical problems you'll see in the Chanel WOCs is a bit of bowing on the sides of the bags here. Because this inside part is reinforced only up to here, when you wear these straps this way and you fill it too full, you'll see a bend. And you do see it in my bag, but definitely not as much as other bags that are also 5 years old. Again, if you like to stuff your bags, it will lose the structure here and you'll see it sagging. I had an eye of investing in this bag and potentially reselling it in the future, so that's why I want to keep it in decent condition. You want to buy this bag and get the most out of it without really caring at all what it looks like in the end of the day, then you can stuff it as much as you want. On the side, you can see that the wallet on chain is actually expandable and you can fit much more in here than you realize. I typically wear the Chanel wallet on chain when I go traveling, when I go on vacation. I'll also save this bag when I go to special occasions, particularly when I'm running my errands. Think about where you'd be able to use this bag with the different strap variations. If you want even more inspiration, I have a Chanel wallet on chain playlist that also includes different outfits and occasions that I wear this bag to. I'm going to show you the maximum I can fit into this bag when I use it for travel. I'm able to put multiple cards in the back pocket for easy access, such as ID and credit cards. I'll put items such as confidential paperwork or receipts in the love note pocket, so it can't be easily seen by any passerbys. In the zippered pocket, I'll put change, cash, and a band-aid, just in case. You can easily double or triple up on any cards you want to put within the 6 card slots. Easily able to fit my iPhone 10, my passport, house keys, and a face mask. I find this is the perfect amount to fit inside without overstuffing the bag. It's also possible to fit even more, like a pair of sunglasses and a lip gloss, if I really need to. Voila! Who knew you could fit so much on a Chanel wallet on chain? On my channel, I help you find value-based fashion that sparks lasting joy in your life. So if you enjoy this type of content, please subscribe and turn on your alerts for my weekly videos. A couple things you want to keep in mind when you're deciding which Chanel wallet on chain that you want to buy. There are 2 main types of leathers. One is the grained calfskin leather, which is the one I have right now. The other is a lambskin leather, which is the same as I have on this Chanel wallet. The texture of the caviar is a bit more rough, which makes it easier to conceal any scratches that you would have. The lambskin is very soft and smooth. The quilting is puffier and feels more luxurious to the touch. I don't think you could go wrong with either one. However, if you have a mind to resell the bag after you've used it, I would suggest the grained leather because it does take scratches much easier. When deciding what color hardware to buy, think about your skin tone. For me, I have a yellow-based skin tone, so gold works perfectly for me. If you have a cool skin tone, I suggest going with the silver hardware instead. Now the next is the color of the bag. Especially if this is your first Chanel purchase, I highly recommend getting in the classic black. Not only is it more popular and easier to resell in case you don't like it in the future, but black is very versatile and can match almost any wardrobe. I would advise against getting a wallet on chain that is too light in color, especially in a lambskin light color, if you are not incredibly careful with it. Caviar leather is a bit more forgiving when it comes to the lighter colors, like the one I have here in the Chanel Classic Flap. If this is not your first Chanel purchase and you already have a classic signature Chanel bag, you certainly have a bit more leeway to go for a more signature or limited edition Chanel WOC. I actually choose this over the Chanel mini flap bag because I find that this is more versatile. It fits approximately the same amount of items and is really functional with all the interior pockets and can be used as a wallet inside your work bag. The price for the Chanel mini flap bag is about $4,200 compared to this one, which is now $2,950. If you are going to go for a Chanel mini flap bag, I would actually suggest that you save up more for a regular Chanel classic flap bag in medium because it is the most iconic bag from Chanel. The only way you're going to be able to get the Chanel wallet on chain is if you go in-store to the Chanel boutiques. You can look online for the different ones that they have available, but they've made it a little bit harder these days for you to see the entire collection of handbags and small leather goods that they carry. I would recommend you phoning into the store in advance to determine if the colors that you're interested in are there before you go in. Keep in mind, each Chanel store has a different stock of items available. They might have even older collections or different ones that are listed on the website. When you go in store, I highly recommend that you try on the Chanel WOC as well as some of the other unique bags, just so you can get a feel of how each one looks against your height and your body. You may find this a nuisance to use if you use one regular wallet all the time and you don't like transitioning the cards and the cash from there into something like this. A person who loves carrying a water bottle, a sweater, and other bulkier items, this might not be the best option for you because you want a bigger bag that's able to accommodate most of those, and you won't be able to get as much use out of this. I would suggest you look at something like the classic Chanel flat bag. However, if you're able to be compact enough and downsize into this handbag, I think it's such an excellent option at a good price point for the Chanel collection. This is also an excellent option for new buyers to Chanel because it gives you a taste of the Chanel quality without having to invest an exorbitant amount of money. I think this is an excellent travel bag. You can fit most of your essentials in here, and also the chain itself is sturdy enough so if you are traveling in high tourist areas and there are thieves around, they can't easily just cut the strap because it's metal intertwined with the leather straps. Also, when you travel with a bag like this and are not using it, it's small enough so that it fits in the hotel safe when you're not using it. Also, easily access any hotel cards, ID cards, credit cards right here, and it stays close to your body when you're wearing it. This is such an excellent transition bag. It transitions easily from going and running errands throughout the day and then heading out to attend a wedding. I just pull this right out and then use it by itself as a clutch or over the shoulder, and it fits perfectly in almost any scenario. At today's prices, do you think that the Chanel wallet on chain is worth it for you, and why? I'd love to hear from you and also help you learn from each other's experiences down in the comment section below. In my personal opinion, I think the Chanel WOC is an excellent investment bag because it can be used in a lot of different ways, not only as a wallet, but as an actual bag. And this is half the price of a Chanel Classic Flat. It's more affordable for a greater number of people. I think this has a great resale opportunity if you ever decide to resell it in the future. But of course, the ability to resell these types of bags will vary depending on which type of leathers or hardware that you choose. The most important factors that you need to consider before deciding on purchasing this bag is how versatile is it within your lifestyle. Before you make that decision, take a look at this next video on 19 different ways that I configure the straps to this to be able to suit your specific height. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you again. Mwah.